So let's say, for example, someone develops these qualities, hones them a little bit through practice, and now they want to take it up a notch. They want to get access to potentially promotions within the organization, more recognition, and so forth. Now, we talked earlier about that 25% of support that's important in order for you to be able to have the right level of sponsorship needed to turn the tide, to make you a viable candidate. So if you've got 4 people, you're talking about 1. If you've got 8 people who are making the decision, you're talking about 2, and 12 if it's 3, and so forth. Now, usually ERG, BRG leaders have an executive sponsor that sits within their group, someone that they have contact with, which is an executive. So you can almost count that one as 1 if you have a good working relationship with that person. But let's say, for example, that these decisions are going to be made by a larger group. So you need to build your club. And I'm using your language based on the discussion that we had earlier. We need to build our club. How can an ERG leader bridge either through that executive sponsor or through some other tactics or approaches to building their club and getting those other people that they need to form that vital 25% that they need on the decision-making group that's going to decide whether or not they're the ones that are going to get to move up into, let's say, a supervisory position or an early management position or beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question. What I would say about that is the people who have the power to put others in positions, right? Because there's always someone in a room or people in a room who are making this decision. It's not a robot, it's another human being, and they're looking at other human beings and saying, I got A here, I got B here, I got one spot, I got to make a choice. In terms of that, people choose based on what they value. So I think sometimes we misunderstand sort of the ratio between the work that we do and how that's valued and what people individually value, which is separate from you or anyone else, because that is also a huge part of decision making. So if you don't understand what the people who are making those decisions value, and all you understand is you do good work, it's almost like you're only bringing like half of your potential package. Now, I'm not saying you change what you do or change who you are to bring that value, but if you understand what people value, then you can make sure that how you present what you already do hooks into and resonates with what's in their heart for this is what we need for the company, or this is what we need for me to build my organization, whatever that value is. I'm not here to judge the value. I'm just here to say that's the lever, right? If you understand what people value and you can connect. And we had a great conversation, Joe, about the tires on the new car and what you want and what you need. If you understand what do people really want, right? And can show how you are the one who can best, deliver that and continue to deliver that, then you put yourself in a much stronger position for advancement. And you haven't changed a thing. You do the same work. You're just as smart, just as good looking or whatever, but you have made a fundamental sort of change in your odds of succeeding.
Yeah, that makes sense. As I was listening to you, I'm thinking that it brings back to mind an old quote from Dale Carnegie, who is like this legendary guy that wrote these books on speaking and influencing people. And one of the things that he advised was speak in terms of the other person's interest. Speak in terms of the other person's interest. And I think that kind of sums up what you just said now, which is you're doing the same thing, but the value that you highlight that comes out of it probably needs to be calibrated depending on who you're talking to. So if you're talking to one group who's going to get a certain value out of this, it's going to meet one of their particular wants or needs, you highlight that. You could be talking about the same exact thing to somebody else or another group who has a totally different interest. So you talk about the same thing, but you highlight the value that's most germane to them. So you talk in terms of their interests, which I think is a fundamental thing that people that are really good at engaging and selling their ideas do almost automatically. But it's a good thing to be conscious of and to do intentionally.